Kia ora koutou e te whānau. Thanks for coming back to Manawa Matters. In the previous episode, an emotional deep dive into what I think were the key contributors to my poor state of health. Now we get into episode 2, when you think you know it all, learning the hard way.
So we're talking to the doctor, and then she starts rolling out the fact that I've got a heart condition, and I'm thinking, heart condition, what does that mean? I haven't had a heart attack. Like, what is this? And she's actually named it atrial fibrillation, and I'm thinking, I've never ever heard of that. If you say heart condition, yeah, I've probably heard of that, but everything I know about heart condition is from TV. Within my own whānau, I had people who suffered from heart condition, but I don't think I was ever paying that much attention.
So was there this desire straight away for this to be done with? Were you going to was your whakaaro, right, that's it, I'm going to, hit this, I'm going to deal with it? Or what were you thinking?
Well, first of all, what the doctor was wanting to know if she had to actually put me into hospital. As it turns out, she ended up having a call with the head of cardiology from Wellington, and they basically made a plan from there. In my own head, I'm thinking, hey, I'm out of here tomorrow, so, whatever needs to happen better be happening in the next half hour or whatever. Trying to schedule my own health. Good one. Bad behaviour, eh? See, it's all coming out. It was all staring me in the face and I wasn't even taking notice. But that's the internal kōrero that was going on. It's like, yeah, okay, you're telling me this news, but hurry up. What are we going to do about it? And I'm saying to her, hey, no, I'm on the plane tomorrow, so you can give me something today. And she's like, well, no, that won't be happening because the medication that we're putting you on, we don't know what dosage to give you and we don't want anything happening to you in the air. So I did not have a choice, and all of a sudden all my choices were taken away, and I was like, what? And she said, yeah, what you need to understand about atrial fibrillation is that there is a high risk of stroke. Stroke? Now I'm actually really paying attention.
How old are you when this is happening?
You see, I was 48, right, 48. And I hadn't had any major illnesses, but also I was in denial that I had anything wrong anyway. So I'm 48 and she's telling me that I have this heart condition. I'm at risk, high risk, not just risk, high risk of having a stroke. If they didn't get me on this medication and get the medication right, they had to do that before I could get clearance to fly home. And I'm thinking, no, I've only taken the weekend to come here. I need to get back home. We need to get back to work. I hadn't even stopped thinking that way. So, yeah, there was a whole load of stuff. And I just said to her, well, what are you going to be giving me? What's this medication that needs all this blinking monitoring? And it was blood thinners. Hey, isn't that the same as rat poison? I don't know where I got that from. Is that the type where we have to monitor my blood work almost every day before I take anything? Like, it's quite a high maintenance process. And they have to get that right. But that means I have to have blood tests every day before they give me the right dosage to take. But happily, anyway, it didn't end up being those ones. They had, they'd come a long way in terms of medication. So, yes, I was on blood thinners, but no, it didn't need to be monitored every day. But we did need to spend the whole week of monitoring my blood and the impact of the dosage that they were giving me before we could get the dosage right enough for me to be able to get on a plane.
And you had to wear surgical things, garments and things like that too. I remember
like
it
the
was
socks.
Quite a bit of a perilous journey initially, just sort of getting yourself home, and you've got your pills and you've got these things, and so you're going to head home.
And it's a lot of pills. I mean, you go from taking no pills, lucky if you're taking Panadol, and only if you have to, and all of a sudden I've got to remember, I've got blood thinners, I've got beta blockers, whatever they are. So I had to get this all done with the local GP. And I'm thinking, oh my God, my husband's still in reception. And how am I going to tell him that I've got a heart problem? How am I actually going to say that? And the fact that I have to tell people that I've got a heart problem. So I come out and then I tell him just there in reception, because I've got no filter. Tragic. Hey, no aroha from my husband. I just like blurted out, not blurted out, but he's sitting there and I said to him, hey, I am actually really sick. And while I'm telling him, it's dawning on me, I haven't completely accepted it. I haven't accepted it at all. And I'm saying to him, look, this is what it is. This is what the doctor said. And no, I can't fly home. I have to stay here, do all these tests and get this dosage right before I can go home. Recently, when I was talking to my husband about this kōrero, I actually asked him, what were you thinking when I actually told you that? And he said he'd gone completely numb. He can't remember anything after I told him that. So that's where he went to. And in all this time, all these years, I had never even asked him how he felt about that. And I'm not wondering how he felt about that at the time, because I'm just like, this is all new. I haven't even accepted it myself. I'm just sort of blurting out what the doctor told me to my husband. And he's like, what the hell is going on? And on top of that, I can feel myself getting really angry. I remember walking out of reception into the car park, and by the time we've hit the car, I was really angry.
Who at?
At myself. And the shame, the shame just washed over me, and I just thought, you have broken it. You've broken yourself. You did it. Look what you've done. There's nobody to blame. Yeah. And it was that, not just the anger, but the shame of that. There was no one to blame. Everything and anything that I was doing had brought me to that point in my life, for whatever were the reasons behind it. But that was what I was thinking in the car park before we even got into the car. I was really mad. I was angry, ashamed.
I would have had a tonguey.
Yeah, I was having a tonguey, right, crying for myself. There's the realisation of that shame, but also there's I'm ashamed, I don't want anybody to know. Because the minute you say that you've got a heart condition or anything serious, they're going to go, well, how did that happen? Because I would. I'd be like, oh, yeah, how did that happen?
And here we are.
Yeah.
It's you now.
And here we are. Exactly. It's my fault. It's my fault. And that was like a bitter, bitter pill to swallow, and have to swallow it. I almost wanted to swallow it real fast so that I could get past it. Then not have to deal with the fact. Okay, so here we go. Let's make myself busy now. Okay, so we've got to go to the doctor. I have to do this. We have to get this prescription. I've clicked into that mode so they didn't have to look too, even though it was really at the forefront in my eyeballs, that it's your fault.
Get on to the doing.
So there was me, fix. Here we go. Okay, I'll start fixing. I broke it, I have to fix it. But now I'm in a hurry to fix it, And it wasn't for my own good. It was about hiding, getting through it quicker so people didn't ask me more questions, so that I didn't have to really, keep saying to people it's my fault. I don't think I was up for hearing anybody's advice, whether from the shame of it's my fault, now I'm going to fix it and I'm in a hurry to fix it. No, it's not that I wasn't going to listen, it's that I didn't hear. Because now I've got things to do and I'm going to do them. I will actually do them. I'm finally taking responsibility, not because I wanted to, because I had to.
And did responsibility look like, as we kind of see it for so many, as, well, I'll just take these pills now and that'll just be something else that I do?
Oh, no. When I got to the doctor on the Monday, that was interesting, because you were with me then.
I know. You gave him a really rough ride.
I didn't think so, but anyway.
He didn't like you.
Yeah.
He didn't like us either. He didn't like either of us. Tell us why, buddy.
I didn't know this doctor. To my mind, it was just like, no, you're a means to an ends, right? I need to get home. I have to see you. It's got nothing to do with you personally. But also, I was starting to ask questions then. So it was like, well, how long am I going to be on this medication for? And I wasn't prepared for what he was going to say, but it was the way he said it. He just flippantly said, well, for life. And that's when I actually did the haka, because I was like, how dare you? I was almost like, how dare you say that to me? Not that he didn't have any right to say that to me, but it was the way he said it. Very flippant and very matter of fact, like, well, for life, what did you think? What did you think? You're overweight, you've got this issue now, you've got a heart problem, you're going to be on it for life. But the fact that he said that without any other kōrero around any other options, he just made the assumption that you're going to be on it for life and that's all that's going to be. And I took exception because I was only 48. And immediately in my mind, I was like, hey, you can't tell me that. I'm only 48. You need to have a better answer than that. Like, I wasn't blaming him and holding him responsible. What I was saying is, that can't be the only option. Are you kidding me? We're in 2000 whatever. Surely it's better than this. You can't just be sitting here telling everybody who's got a heart problem, well, you're going to be on medication for life, so suck it up. And that's actually when I began to fight. Hey,
That's right.
I just thought, you're wrong, and I'm going to prove it. Because that's not good enough for me. Well, got to cheat too, because after I broke my body and abused it, now I'm holding somebody else. I'm saying, no, that's not good enough for me, and now I want this. I want the top notch. I know I made that decision right there and there. I am not going to be on medication for the rest of my life. The outcome that I'm looking for is 100% medication-free.
I remember you saying that, and I remember you holding him to account to actually give you some assurance that that was actually achievable before you left the room.
Awesome. I'm glad too. First of all, I thought, yeah, got a cheek. Is this all I can expect from the doctor?
So this is a pivotal moment, and this is, really, you've had this big shock a few days earlier,
Yeah.
but now you've got fired up, and this is actually the kākano within you that's now being planted.
There's two pivotal moments here, like when I felt the shame in the car park, because what I was actually doing was making myself accountable for the first time. And I believe all these years later, if I hadn't have done it then, I wouldn't have had this much success in terms of the outcome. If I hadn't have taken accountability right there and then, I wouldn't have been looking for a better outcome for myself. And so by the time we get to the doctor 2 days later, you want to bet he did ignite that fight. Because I was like, you're not going to tell me that I'm going to live half a life and become numb on your stupid medication. And also, what came to mind immediately was, how dare you tell me I'm only 48? If I do things right, I've got at least another 30 odd years to live. And you're telling me that you're okay with telling anybody? Well, you're going to have the next 30 years worth of medication.
Well, it was less than 30 years, I think, too.
But any years. The remainder of your life is going to be attached to this bottle and you're never going to get better. Is basically what he was saying to me without using those words. Yeah, but I'm still hard with that doctor.
Probably the right one in hindsight, though.
Absolutely. Absolutely, he was the right one to see. Because, I believe everything happens for a reason, and that was supposed to poke me in the eyeball, basically.
He told who?
Yeah. So I couldn't wait to get back to my doctors. I was thinking, I don't care. You guys are rubbish. I was thinking I'll go back to Sydney, thinking it's a better health system. And to a certain extent, they are a bit more proactive, just in my experience. But I was thinking, yeah, you guys I don't need to listen to you. You're just full of rubbish. I'll wait till I get back to my own doctors. This is how I was talking internally. So, yeah, when I did get back to my own doctor, boy, did he get the full lowdown about it. And I was doing the haka about what I'd been told. And
I mean, even though we're saying that this thing happened and this thing happened and this thing happened, there was still all those worries around because the medication took a long time to settle with you. Your body actually, I'm not going to say fought you, but all of those years of ignoring had to be played out somewhere, to be recognised somewhere. And I think, the challenge of embracing what you'd been given kept giving. It's the gift that kept giving. Maybe.
Yeah. It took me 2 years before I could even get to the point of being considered for an operation. And by the time I got to my own GP, I was basically saying to him, hey, where's the operation? Why do we have to be on this blinking medication? Haven't we come further than pills? Chucking pills at people? Yeah. I'm really grateful that he actually is a man of faith as well as a man of science, and that he was just really calm. And obviously he's used to, different patients walking in and
having their feelings.
Yes, having feelings which he has to deal with aside from the illness. And he just said to me, look, they have actually come a long way. But he said, yes, you do need the medication just for now.
Because
it's stopping you from having a stroke. There you are. Just very clean and simple. That's what that medication is doing right now, in very basic terms. I'm glad he talked to me like that because that's all I could understand. Oh, that's all I could take in, Just keep it short and simple. And so basically he didn't really delve into it. He just said, we're going to send you for some more. He just put everything in process. Yeah.
I know that you wanted to know what the journey looked like. Like, what does it look like? What are all the steps that I now have to take if I want to be off medication and well again? Did he talk you through that then? Because I know with you, it's like, well, tell me so I know what I'm facing. Did that happen then?
It didn't really happen then. He sort of glossed over it a bit because he was like, no, you really need to see the cardiologist. You need a specialist who can talk you through what's going to happen next. But he said for now, he talked about the medication. You do need to stay on it. And then we'll get you in. They basically got me in within 2 days. I saw him on the Saturday morning. I was in with the cardiologist on the Monday and he booked it all. So he was player number one on my team. And now we start talking about building your blinking team and who's on it.
Who is on it?
There's your GP, and then you have to go to a cardiologist. That is the specialist in all things heart related. And the cardiologist that we chose, I actually don't think we did any research. We just went, right, here's the Cardiac Institute, let's go there. And that was in our area. My doctor said to me, you're going to be going and seeing this person a lot. No matter what the journey is, they're going to be your first port of call. So it had to be someone that was local from our point of view. So there's the cardiologist. Eventually there was the surgeon. And then there's all their teams. And then there's all the ones who take these specialised x-rays, scans, blood work. It just got on and on. It was a lot. But the cardiologist that I had, he was very academic. And I'm very much a feels person, just feeling where people are at. When you're a person like that, dealing with somebody who communicates in a different way or very matter of fact and very logical, on top of the fact that he's trying to do that while I'm coming to grips with having a situation with my heart. So, yeah, he was very much an academic, and I just thought, I don't know how this is going to go. Because if we're going to have a long-term relationship, then are we ever going to be friends? Anyway, there are quite a few steps. First of all, we've still got to get this medication right. What they did in New Zealand was just get you right enough to get you on the plane. So it just started the whole barrage of tests, blood tests we're talking about. So getting your blood work done and then adjusting the dosage. And one thing that I did learn about the medication is that because they don't know, they just know they have to put you on that medication so that it stops you from having a stroke and whatever other else. They're guessing. So they throw you on the maximum dosage. And that's what that blood work was about every 6 weeks, was so that they could get closer to the dosage that was right for you. And it didn't happen with just one blood test being done. It's every single blood test and every single time you were having that done. So they could either reduce the beta blockers or they had to increase it, all depending on the blood work results.
So you'd be having to readjust your medication every 6 weeks as well as a result of the blood work.
Yeah. And what I was saying to them is that, no, I want to come off it. And they weren't saying to me immediately, yeah, okay, well, this is how we get there. Because they were doing their research. They basically were doing investigative. That's the way I'm putting it together now. But at the time, it just seemed like, hey, what's happening? We have to keep having these tests, and now you're increasing it, now you're reducing it. What's going on?
And lifestyle-wise, what's happening? You're back at home. Are you still working? Have you any advice around what's happening with eating and weight? Because that's, been highlighted as a part of the journey. Were you trying to hit those marks as well at the same time?
At that point, no, because it was just too much to deal with. It was like far out. I just have to deal with this medication. And also it was being in denial about having a heart problem, whether you wanted to know or not. So a lot of that was going on and having to deal with the medication. And then what I didn't realise is that on the bottles, and they've got all of these warnings about the medication, about the side effects, the demotivation, depression, all that. It's a great big list of side effects. And my body was going through that. And I didn't realise that that was actually impacting me as well. Yeah, I mean, who takes notice of what's on the side of the bottle? Sorry, not me, because you just get given the pills from your doctor, and then when you're not questioning, you just take it because you want to stop the bigger event happening. No one wants to have a stroke. I will take this medication. That's where I went. Some people who end up with big diagnoses like that, or for me, they're brave. They're brave enough to go, hey, no, I don't like your pills. I am taking notice of the side effects. I'm going to go and have a look at non-Western and be equally successful at being able to manage their health. Not me. I've done no care, so now I'm just going to stick with what I know. I'll work with you, but I hadn't really taken into account about what was actually happening physically. Aside from being Mawiwi, I was getting a whole lot of new problems because of the side effects from the medication. And I think when I was fighting that doctor in New Zealand, instinctively I knew that there's something wrong with being on a long-term medication, that is actually not right. Everybody was screaming at me going, no, we can't go there.
But you listened this time.
Yes, and I was listening, but hadn't realised, oh, whoa, that's that voice. Now I've heard you. I've heard me.
And so starts the journey of reconnection with self.
Which I didn't really break it down. I was just like, okay, we have to deal with this. Okay, I don't really like that. What is happening to me? And I was depressed. Like, I was very demotivated. All I could concentrate on was I've got this doctor's appointment. And look, my role from work had been made retrenched. And that was a blessing in disguise, really. I had actually started to do therapy, to do some counselling around that. And then all this other stuff came out. So, I mean, when you look at what was actually going on with me, I think my body was saying, yeah, now I can be sick because now you're starting to deal with all these other problems. Through your therapy, you're talking about these sorts of things. You're talking about age-old trauma, pain. Your body says, hey, I think now we can let it out because she's not listening anyway too. And we can no longer hold it inside. But she started to fix that stuff, so now she can fix it. This is me giving voice to the hoo-ha that I was to my own body, right? And I was able to just concentrate on, okay, taking the steps to make myself better. But I was all up for, where's the operation? Let's have that. Let's just get rid of it.
And what is the operation that you're talking about?
The operation that we were talking about was an ablation.
Kia ora e te whānau. Thanks for staying with me this far. In the next episode, it's been a long road to surgery, but we are finally here. Well, that's what I thought.